Go let it rain or did it?
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. I want to thank you all for coming out this afternoon in the rain to attend this press conference. And the purpose of the press conference is basically to kind of give an update on where we are with the investigation, what's going on with the investigation. As all of you are aware, we uploaded information to the Tuscaloosa Police Department's YouTube page concerning what was captured on the body cameras that the officers were wearing, or some of the officers were wearing that were out there on the scene. That information has been uploaded, and we've talked to all of the officers that are involved, and we're continuing the investigation. And hopefully, in the very near future, we'll have the investigation concluded, and then we'll move forward with our disciplinary process, which, if you want to know how the disciplinary process works for the Tuscaloosa Police Department and city employees, if you'll go to section 19 of the city code of Tuscaloosa, it explains it in great detail. And that's the policy that we will be following as we work through this issue and deal with the incident that occurred. Having said all of that, that's basically all the information that I have at this time. Are there any questions?
Chief, you and your Internal Affairs Department have had a chance to look at your officers' body cam video of what it shows. What did you think of what you showed, and has your opinion changed from the last time you talked to us about it?
No, my opinion has not changed. I still think that we could have handled that situation much better. I think that there's a lot of opportunities for us to learn from what we've seen and address it through training with the officers that are involved and with the entire department, so that we don't have an incident like that again.
What do you hope by releasing this video?
Well, this video was released because we want to be transparent and show that we have nothing to hide. I know there's nothing earth-shattering or groundbreaking that you all have seen in the video. The majority of the video is just officers and their interaction with one another in the aftermath of what happened. But we wanted to put that out there because everybody knows that we're wearing body cameras and they expect to see video. And so in an effort to be transparent and continue to share with the public what we're doing and how we're going about doing our job, we wanted to put that information out there.
Now, there's certain gaps in the video where it stops and then starts in other areas. If you, I guess, some might ask, if you're trying to be completely transparent, why not show all the footage?
The gaps in the video are from when we go from taking one camera off that one individual officer recorded, and then it stops at the end of his video, and then it starts up with the next officer. And so that's the only way that we can put it together. I mean, it's not a continuing video from just one perspective. This video that came from 12 or 13 different officers who were wearing cameras out there, and that's why you see the stopping and the starting in the video, because it's from a number of different body cameras, not just one single body camera.
So there wasn't any footage edited out of the video?
The only footage that was edited was there are times in there when the officers are running information on the individuals that were arrested, and so when they're talking about that individual's social security number, date of birth, things of that nature, that's the edited footage that's taken out, because we didn't feel that was a need for the public to have their social security numbers, dates of birth, personal information on them.
The first 6 minutes of the video or so is the officer approaching the door, and when that video cuts out and cuts back into the actual process of arresting them after the tasing, is it feasible to say that where that footage cuts out is where the footage that was received 10 days ago starts?
Yes, the officer that made the initial approach, when he's there at the door with the young man, his camera gets knocked off by accident, and so that's why we have the initial approach that he makes when he approaches the apartment. That's also why we have the initial minute or so that he's in the doorway with the individual. At some point in time during that contact with the individual, his camera is accidentally knocked off, and it doesn't come back on until later on in the incident. But in the interim, you have the video that was released by the individuals themselves, which fill in that gap.
Can you comment on how many times the taser was deployed and kind of your opinion? The student appeared to have his hands up and was struck with a baton. What's your impression of that?
Like I said, we're investigating that to see if the amount of force that was used was excessive in any way. And if it was excessive, in our opinion, then we will deal with that officer, or those two officers that were involved in that incident. Other questions?
And so
Chief, has your department started the retraining process, and if not, when is it scheduled to start?
Yes, we've already taken some steps in addressing some of the issues that have been seen in the video with officers, and we will continue to train officers on different things as we go about this task of investigating the case and also ensuring that we don't have any problems like this again.
The three officers, do they remain on paid leave?
Yes, they're still on administrative leave.
And so the student who said they would not come out of the apartment, can you legally do that? A lot of people are wondering, that's kind of fuzzy there. Legally, did the people have to come out of the apartment?
Did the student have to come out legally? Based on what I've seen in the video, and this is basically from the officer's perspective and from what the students were doing, the individual did not have to exit the apartment at that time.
And were they legally within their right to go in the apartment?
Were the officers legally within their right to go into the apartment? Based on what I've seen, no. And that's something that we're looking at and making sure that we have the bases covered on that and making sure that I'm correct on that. But my opinion of what I've seen in the video is that the officer didn't have the right to enter the apartment at that time, and neither did he have the right to remove the individuals from the apartment at that time.
But big picture, obviously, when a situation is escalating like that, you would advise people to comply with your officers, correct?
Yes, and that's the thing. You're never going to win the argument on the side of the road, so to speak. So if you don't agree with what an officer is doing, the best course of action is to go ahead and comply with that officer and then report it to the proper authorities, whether it be internal affairs, or if you don't feel like that you can report it to internal affairs, report it to somebody and have it investigated, rather than taking matters into your own hands and having it escalate to the point that this did.
Chief, you see any kind of time frame where you think this could be wrapped up, and how either a decision either would be made or you would make a recommendation regarding what happens to these officers in the future?
No, I don't know the time frame. Like I said, it takes a while to go through our disciplinary process. Once I make a recommendation as to what I feel like should be the discipline in this case, then officers obviously have the opportunity to appeal my decision to our personnel board, and then a hearing will be set at that time. So there's no way for me to give you a date on when we feel like this will all be resolved.
Have you received any indication the city is going to be sued over this?
I can't answer that question right now. All right, thank y'all.
And